It occurred to me that fascination is far more powerful than dreams. I spent 5 hours editing a video today. Fascination turned to the fact that I'm doing something that I was fascinated with even as a young child. And here I am at age 70. Who knew? Hey, welcome. I spent 5 hours editing a video today. But my fascination turned to the fact that I'm doing something that I was fascinated with even as a young child. And here I am at age 70. Who knew? Creating a video out of the raw footage from Mike and I's video from last night was something I really wanted to do. And it's just as creative as painting is for me. And it's finished and it's up on the YouTube channel. And let's hope we reach some folks with some ideas. It occurred to me when I was editing the video, the memory of myself, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, watching the Today Show with my mother. And Barbara Walter was on there every day. Raise your hand if you remember Barbara Wawa. Okay. The woman impacted me deeply. I'd never known another woman like that in my life. And it stays with me a lot. And I think about her a lot. But what I saw also was a lifestyle in New York City. They did a lot of cutaways back then to the village in New York City where the artists lived, the bohemian lifestyle. The beatniks is what they were called back in the 60s. And I was in love with all of it. But I was fascinated with the study of other people and how they live their lives. It just blew me away. There's just things I wanted to learn. But more to the point, I was fascinated with television. Then you have to understand, at this point in time, there was one television network in my little hometown, and it's called NBC. So there was no choice but to watch that. Couldn't flip channels. You didn't have the choices you have today. The more I watched it, and the color TV comes in when I'm 10 years old, and we're like the hottest family on the block because we got the color TV. It was a trip in and of itself. I was fascinated with people of credibility and integrity who came into my living room every day. I felt like they were actually talking to me. Golly. And for a little girl who was pretty much a latchkey kid before it was ever called latchkey, that was a big deal. So here I am now at age 70 making videos, sitting here talking to you thanks to this marvelous technology about fascination. So here's where I want to go with this topic. I recalled my fascination as a teenager while I was doing, or as a young person while I was doing the video editing this morning. And then I started stringing some things together and realized that it really wasn't a dream that I had to be on TV, but my fascination was to be able to be someone who talked to interesting people. My fascination was to be able to be an artist like they were in New York City. And I hadn't done that, by the way. I lived in New York City for 20 years. I didn't do the art part of it, visual arts. I did the classical music part of it, but I did go do it. And what I want to say to you, the reason I'm here is I realized when I was preparing everything that being fascinated with something when you're a young person doesn't go away. I found that out today. It just became jet fuel for the other things that I want to do now. Like you hear gurus all the time saying, "Oh, go live your truth." What the fuck does that mean? Really? Who's going to go live their truth if you don't know what it is? How do you find out what your truth is? So I'm going to challenge you to give some consideration to remembering what used to fascinate you as a child, because there might be some clues in that on some things you want to bring to your future. Last night, Mike and I talked about something funny around the words Back to the Future. Who remembers that movie? Go back to your past to remember what used to fascinate you and bring the elements, the qualities of that into your future. Because one thing I really do know, we all have a future. And it doesn't have to be a future of maintaining where you are. Who wants to tread water in place? Who wants to, did you wake up a day and say, what can I do to not progress and not have any more fun or discover more or find out some new clues or what am I curious in? Did you wake up and say, I'm going to sit on this couch and do nothing today like a grump because I retired and I deserve that? I'm sorry if you did. Because, man, there's a whole lot to discover. And I think that's really what I want to share with everybody is that I have discovered so much about myself since I started my Substack journey that I didn't even know I had. All of this conversation right now is happening because I found out I was fascinated with Barbara Walters. I remembered it, and it just triggered all these other thoughts and feelings that I've been carrying with me to the point I had to get online here and say, hey, you guys, I want to encourage you to take some time to try to remember what used to fascinate you when you were a young person. Something that just really piqued your curiosity, something that you could almost salivate that you wanted to be like whatever you saw. Another person, another experience. I'm not one to tell you what to look for. I'm just saying that whatever fascinated you when you were a younger person is still there inside of you. And it's worth digging it back up and taking a long look at it because that has information for you that was put inside of you by your soul. And you know now more where you want to go forward. If you're just satisfied where you are currently, either as a working person or a retired person, what do you lose by taking some time to sit and try to remember what you used to be fascinated by? Because there's some secrets in there that are just for you and you don't even know about them. So I'm gonna let it go on that. I've got my coffee here. Who has coffee? Who has wine? I'm doing my coffee. Wine doesn't like me very much, so I'm gonna do my coffee. Because you know what? There's too much good within each one of us to be buried by the onslaught of messages that come to us, some by well-meaning people and some by not so well-meaning people. But if you will take a time to visit with yourself and ask yourself, what was I fascinated by when I was 10? And I'm answering that question right now for myself because I'm remembering when I was 10, I was sitting on the Gulf of Mexico with my mom and dad, and the tide actually fascinated me. Now, here's what's funny about that. I bet I say 10 times a day to myself, the tide goes in, the tide goes out. The tide goes in, the tide goes out. Something that's stable that I can count on. And I like that idea. Those are one of those little things but see, that little thing that I noticed that fascinated me at 10 gives me stability as I grow my little business. And here's why that's important. You can get caught looking at the vanity numbers and you hold your head up and go, but why is it doing better? Or why am I not getting more responses? Or you could ask all the wrong questions and you're forgetting that the tide goes out and the tide comes back in. I recently had a tide come in that was like a freaking tidal wave that knocked me over and sent oodles of new subscribers and paid subscribers to me as well. And I'm so eternally grateful for that. But I had to remember that the tide's also going to go back out. And what do you do when the tide goes back out? When I was with my dad on the beach, that's when we did some beach combing and picked up shovels. And so we did things while the tide was out, waiting for the tide to come back in. This is when we would go camping on the beach. So when the tide is out and you're building a little business, be it on Substack or whatever platform, or if you're doing a retail store, everything is cyclical, right? So why beat yourself up for it? Be prepared for when the tide comes back in is what you really want to do. Find the things that you can adjust and make things a little bit better. Be fascinated with today's awe and wonder because there's information in that too. Y'all can become like Dick Tracy of your own lives. There's a lot of things to discover if you'll become a student of your life, not a student of somebody else's PDF guide on how to do this or how to do that. You become a student of your own life and start studying and making notes about what gives you tingles, what fascinates you. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing? I absolutely know why I'm doing what I'm doing because there's some benefits and some goodness in it that I just really like having around and some satisfaction. So that's what I want to encourage you today is go find yourself some satisfaction, go find yourself some fascination, develop some curiosity, become a student of your own life and see what comes up. What do you have to lose? Oh, sure, maybe the laundry won't get folded for 2 or 3 days because you took time to discover things for yourself. But so what? Laundry's laundry, chores are chores. They will be like the tide that go in and out. They will always be there. But the moment is right now to stop and go, hey, What do I really think about that? And put all the noise away. There's one other thing that I really want to bring up because I saw it a lot today on Substack. It's painful to watch folks struggle with making determination, having a self determined life, making their own choices, and being determined to live their own lives. And here's what I mean by that: it's painful to watch folks who struggle with people pleasing. And the thing is, you're the only person who puts your head down on the pillow at night and can remind yourself of what you did for that day. The other people, they can't be there. You're the only person who can do that for yourself. So if you would consider living a day where you are looking forward to putting your head on the pillow and listing out loud as you're drifting off to sleep the things that you accomplished that day, it will have nothing to do with other people. It will have everything to do with what you do with yourself. Be good to yourself. Don't judge yourself against other people. Don't judge yourself at all, actually. Go find what used to fascinate you when you were 10, when you were 12, when you were 15 or 16. Fascination is a very curious thing to study within yourself. So go find out. And I'm telling you, there's something that fascinated you. You just have forgotten about it. That's okay. But you could stop and go remember for yourself because you choose to. Got to run, folks. Later, Gator. Take care.